The conversation is Jordan a bad guy, a bad teammate, too much of an a-hole, too much of somebody who pushes? And the answer to this question is simple. They were even asked, is he a nice guy? And there was even at one point Jordan talking about how hard he pushed everybody and why he pushed everybody as hard as he did. And he went from thoroughly defiant, sitting from atop his Mount Olympus of sports, saying, if you don't feel this way, it's because you've never won anything, from obscenely, at one description of it, obscenely defiant to say something like that. You've never won anything if you don't agree with me. All the way down to him needing to take a break from the conversation, seemingly breaking down about talking about how much of a burden it was to act this way, and understanding how he might be perceived by many because this was the only way he knew how. And it is the reason why he had 6 rings when it was all over, and why it had to be all over when it had to be all over twice, because of the burden. He broke down. That was a phenomenal way to end episode 7. Susie and I turned to each other like, was he crying over that? And we're like, yeah. He broke down. So here's the answer to the question of, is he a bad guy for being this way? Is he an a-hole? And the answer is yes. But he won. And if he acted that way and he lost, we wouldn't be sitting around watching a 10-part documentary so fascinated by everything.
Right.
We'd say that guy had no business acting that way. He didn't get results from acting that way. As a matter of fact, what a horrible legacy. That you had no reason to act that way. Go ahead, you could say what you just said off camera if you want to.
Yeah, he'd be Jimmy Butler.
Okay, I mean,
I'm a jerk for no reason who never wins anything.
I don't know when the 10-part documentary of Jimmy Butler's last dance is coming. I hope it does come for him, because that means he would be an incredible winner out of all this. It's a simple answer. We are accepting of it and lionizing the man because he was so dominant. I even come on the air here, and I know this sort of stuff is made for clicks and conversation, and then people on shows like this will pick it up and have a conversation about it. You know, ESPN saying, would Jordan be successful in the NBA in 2020? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Where you have to, bend your arm at the elbow to sort of allow somebody to back you down, that you can't put anybody on their ass all the time, like Jordan was all the time. Are you kidding me?
You thought James Harden shot a lot of free throws.
What? Could he be great in the NBA in 2020? He would run roughshod over this basketball association.
I think 40 a night would be a piece of cake for him.
Here's the answer to that question. Yes, he would be successful in 2020. How about this guy using every possible slight? How about him talking about destroying the Seattle Supersonics in the NBA Finals, not because they beat them earlier in the season in the old Key Arena, which they showed. Not because of that. No, because George Karl didn't come over and say hello to him in a restaurant the night before Game 1 of that Finals in Chicago. When the two of them are in the same restaurant, he sees him. George sees Michael. I mean, we all know we've seen each other. And they have a Carolina connection.
Right.
And you don't even come up to Michael and say hello, good luck, hey, how are you? How about them heels and beat it on down the line? No. And this is true because Ahmad Rashad and Jordan told the story separately. And Jason Hare, the director, weaved it in together.
It's great.
And
it was great.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, really? Yes, really. And not many people in the NBA, and I don't cover it every day, obviously, as closely as others, but I proffer to say, when everybody's hugging it out after the games, that who's out there saying you slighted me in that small, impersonal, personal way, and I'm going to destroy your livelihood for it.
I saw somebody tweet
Right?
that Mike probably would have got equally as mad had George Karl said hello. What are you doing saying hello to me the night before a game?
I guess he could have used
You know
everything.
what I mean?
What was the story about that? The kid's name blanks from the Washington.
Bradford Smith.
Bradford Smith.
Oh, this poor guy.
Again, I had never heard that story. I love David Aldridge saying, here's a story about LeBradford Smith.
It's great.
And then Wilbon tells a story about LeBradford Smith. And then ultimately the punchline is that LeBradford Smith, who lights up Michael Jordan in Chicago on one night and says to him, good game, Mike, the next night is the subject of MJ's personal and professional scorn, destroys him and the team the next night. And the punchline of the story is Bradford Smith never said good game, Mike.
Jordan made it up.
Made it up.
Just to get himself going. And that's what he said about George Karl. Like, that's all I needed. All I needed was this little slight and I'm going off.
Right. Could he be good in the NBA today in 2020? Yeah. Could he dominate? Yeah. Could he also be a total a-hole and not the nicest guy to work with or be around? Yeah. Do we accept it? You bet we do, because
absolutely.
he won 6 times. Yeah. If he won once and then went 0 for his next 5, even getting to the finals as much as he had. Look how much we give LeBron grief for getting to the finals and not winning. Come on. Finals MVP all 6 times. Yes, we will totally accept it. We will totally believe that that guy is that guy, and then go off, hang with Bugs Bunny. I'll show it to all my kids and let them buy into the fact that Mike is a wonderful guy, which, you know, he also can be personally, as they showed. We're totally believing on that same guy. And then on top of all of it, and this is the cherry on top I get from all of it, by the point where Jordan comes back and then goes to California and shoots Space Jam, at that point, everybody in the NBA for half a decade, if not a full decade, already knew what type of total beast Michael Jordan was as a professional, as the guy who will rip you apart for the slightest imposition that really wasn't imposed upon him. He will rip out that heart and show it to you pumping and make sure you will never beat him. And he's in California on a movie set needing people to keep him in shape and get him back into shape, because he clearly wasn't in shape coming back into the game. Hey, everybody, who wants to play with me? Everybody raises their hands.
Everybody.
And says, I'll go into that meat grinder willingly because you've asked me, Mike, and I want to be around you and learn from you while also showing you all my moves so you can torch me to the tune of 72 regular season wins the next year. And storm my way to a championship, losing once in the Eastern Conference. At least my Knicks got him. I don't know how, of all the times to gloss over the Knicks. Give me at least that one win in the second round of the playoffs that year. And then take out the Sonics and see Gary Payton in all of his F-bomb glory, recounting all of this stuff, talking about how when he finally got put on Mike, things changed in a finals that they didn't eventually win, and showing that full screen. Jason Hare, I give you the tip of the cap, showing it full screen, Peyton going on that, and then in the middle of it, showing Jordan watching it on the iPad and all of the faces.
Amazing.
And then him cackling.
It's amazing.
About it. Just puts an exclamation point on how Jordan is who he is. We all accept it. And the players in the NBA fed it. Unbelievable. I loved it again. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.